The Ladder of Divine Ascent. Step 18. On apathy, which is the death of the soul and mind before the death of the body. Apathy in the body and the spirit is a numb feeling, from which a lengthy illness and neglect slips into insensibility. Apathy is neglect that becomes a regular practice, deadening the mind. It is the birth of conjecture, a trap for eagerness, a noose of bravery, and ignorance of remorse, a gateway to depression, the mother of forgetting, which begets a neglect of the fear of God. Then she incessantly becomes a daughter of her daughter. The one who is apathetic is a philosopher without a brain, a self-damned critic, a hypocritical windbag, a blind man who instructs others how to see. He speaks about curing an injury, but never ceases aggravating it. He protests of an illness, but does not cease eating what is bad. He prays in opposition to it, and then straightway goes and does the very thing. Then when he has done it, he is annoyed with himself. The vile man is not embarrassed by his own words. I am committing sin, he yells, and earnestly continues committing it. His mouth prays in opposition to his vice, and his body fights for it. He philosophizes about the topic of death, but acts as if he were going to live forever. He sighs over the division of the soul and body, but dozes on as if he were endless. He speaks of moderation and temperance, but he lives for the consumption of food. He reads about the final judgment and starts to snicker. He reads about arrogance and is arrogant while reading. He reiterates what he discovered about vigil and then falls asleep immediately. He lauds prayer, but flees from it as if it were a plague. He praises obedience, but he is the first one to disobey. He praises detachment, but he is not embarrassed to be bitter and to struggle for a piece of cloth. When he gets angry, he quickly becomes causic, and then he is indignant as his causic nature. He does not sense that after each ruin he is succumbing to another. After he overeats, he repents, but then after a period of time he does the same thing. He praises stillness and then lauds it with a flood of words. He instructs on the topic of humility, and while teaching often becomes angry. Awaking from passion he groans, and nodding his head he once again gives in to passion. He derides jesting, and instructs on lamenting while smiling. In front of others he reproaches himself for being arrogant, and in reproaching himself he is only looking for praise for himself. He gazes at the faces of others with passion, and speaks about purity of heart. While spending time in the world, he lauds the life of solitude. Without realizing it, he embarrasses himself. He praises charity and disdains beggars. At all times he is his own adversary, but he has no desire to rouse himself. I will not say he is unable. I've observed numerous people just like this listen to the topic of death and the fearsome judgment and weep, and with teardrops still on their cheeks they earnestly go their dinner. I was astonished how this oppressor, this skunk of gluttony, by total apathy, can become so powerful as to alter even grief. As much as my ability permits and my understanding allows, I have revealed the tricks and snares of this hard, stony, wild, and idiotic passion. I lack the endurance to expand on the topic. The one who is experienced and capable in the Lord should not hold back from using treatment on their wounds. For I am not embarrassed to acknowledge my own shortcomings, since I am also ill from this disease. I would not have been able to reveal its trickery and subterfuge by myself if I had not seized hold and retained it, investigating it, and forcing it to admit to what it has been related previously, and flogging it with the whip of the fear of the Lord and incessant prayer. This is the reason why this oppressor and wicked one said to me, My servants chuckle when they look upon the dead bodies. When they pray they are stony, rigid, and gloomy. When they look upon the holy altar, they have no feeling. When they participate in the mysteries, it is as if they are consuming regular bread. When I see people moved with remorse, I deride them. From my father, I have learned to destroy all good things which are the offspring of bravery and compassion. I am the mother of jesting, the nursemaid of sleep, the friend of a swollen stomach. When I am revealed, I do not show remorse. I go together with false piety. I was struck by these words of this mad being, and inquired about her father, desiring to know her name, and she said, I have no single set of parents. My conception is a blend, and not definite. Satiety feeds me. I grow with time, and a bad habit secures me. He who maintains this practice will never be free from me. Be regular in vigil, reflecting on the final judgment. Then maybe I will to some degree release my grip on you. Find out the root cause of me, and then wage war on my mother, for she is not the same in all instances. Frequent the tombs and pray there, and keep the image of them in your heart. But unless you engrave it with the reed pen of fasting, you will never overcome me.